Welcome, beloved. Welcome to a moment of expansion, a moment of deliciousness, a moment of the eternal remembrance of selfhood. I am Astarius Miraculii, and today my subject is sexual ascension. To look at the ways in which the energy of sexuality is woven into the energies of the ascension. Ascension having to do with that acceleration of consciousness that becomes so accelerated and so exalted that we come back into alignment with the consciousness that we share with Source, the cosmic consciousness, the total enlightenment. Ascension is resonance with total enlightenment. And the force of sexuality being a force of creation is an indication that it is an access code to the ascension. Sex and sexuality is an access code to the ascension, because sex is creation force. We see that it is through the act of copulation and the exchange of sexual energies that creates physical life. And sexual energy creates not only physical life, but creates everything, gives vitality to the body, heals the body, creates everything on every level. And the orgasm is a micro version of the ascension, because the orgasm is that which once again promotes the physical life. Through the orgasm we experience ecstasy, bliss, peace. And through the orgasm, we oftentimes, or that is after the orgasm, we oftentimes go into a deep state of healing slumber. It appears to be sleeping, but it's actually a place between awake and sleeping. And when we are in that sacred state of sleeping, that healing slumber, we are absolutely closest to the realms of ascension. For the realms of ascension is an intangible realm. It's a non-physical domain of reality. It is that domain of reality that is the origin of all things that come into crystallized manifestation. Because everything that is in manifestation was brought into being by something that is intangible. Everything is sexual, because everything is connected with a projection, a conception, and a birth. Even this communication that is taking place, as I share these ideas with you, that is a projection. And then they are conceived within the womb of your mind. You see, that's the conception. And then there's a birth, in that they are born into whatever way you choose to express them and exemplify them within your life. Everything is projection, conception, and birth. And the projection is much like the ejaculation. When a man ejaculates, he releases his seed. And then that seed is conceived within the woman. And then after the cycle of 9 months, there is a birth. Everything is sexual in that everything is projection, conception, and birth. And every moment of sacred sexual innocence is a new frequency version of its own essence. And in that sense, every moment is a sacred innocence that pops the universe's cherry. When we hold the energy of sex and sexuality in a sacred manner, we pop the universe's cherry. And every time we express this energy in a sacred way, it becomes an expression of our first time. Every moment of the sacred engaging with sexuality is its own version of our first time. And so we get to experience the virgin originality of being over and over and over and over again. And every time we engage with this energy in a sacred manner, and I do mean a sacred manner, it pops the cherry of our consciousness, and it pops the cherry of the universe. Sexual, sex, you, all. Sexuality, sex, you, allity, or sex, your allity. Sexuality, a process of creation. And we must transcend this identification with erotic shame in order to come into alignment with the true expression of this energy, which then enables us to be the powerful creators that we were meant to be. We must make peace with this energy. And first and foremost, it's important that we have a harmonious relationship with sexual energy within our own body, within our own matrix and cellular matrix. That we hold that energy in a good way, that we hold that energy with a sense of peace, whether there is an outlet to share that sexual energy with another person or not. We want to always welcome that energy into the body. Let the desire be a raging force, and let us be so harmoniously aligned with that energy that that raging desire becomes its own form of fulfillment, because it therefore reminds us of our access to creation force. Ascension is the infinite and eternal remembrance of our goddesshood. And the force of sexuality goes in both directions. It is that force that enables spirit to come down into physicality. It is also that force that allows physicality to transcend the flesh and rise back up into spirit. The force of ascension is intricately woven with the force of sexuality. Sexuality is creative expansion in both directions. Expansion into flesh, expansion into spirit. And we are closest to God during the ascended orgasm. And I say the ascended orgasm because the ascended orgasm is the orgasm that we experience where we are in a full sacred yes in the experience of that energy, where we are in the splendor of surrender. Sometimes we experience an orgasm and it is more of a reflection of the no of life. We're not 100% present with it. It's kind of like an unsacred yes, because there's certain judgments, that is woven into it. For example, when we feel sexual shame, erotic shame, this is a micro version of death. When we experience sexual blame and sexual judgment, another micro version of death, because we are engaging with a negative implication of this energy, which diminishes our true resonance of selfhood. When we suppress sexual energy, this also is a mini version, a micro version of death. When the lower ego says that it's not okay for this energy to be enjoyed by us, that we're not meant to physically enjoy this energy. And some religious systems say that we're not meant to physically enjoy this energy, and yet it was the Most High that created this energy to feel so delicious within the body. And were it not intended for physical enjoyment, as well as healing, as well as expansion, then it would not have been designed to feel so wonderful. Our Creator does not play cruel jokes like that. It is a wonderful, a benevolent energy, a beautiful energy. And so, when we are in the resonance of sexual ascension, then we also honor all sexual choices and unchoices, meaning that we honor others' right to express their free will and how they are expressing their sexuality. You know, we honor when someone chooses to be celibate and not be involved with the experience of sex at all. You know, we don't ever want to make another being in our mind bad and wrong because they don't dance sexually in the way that we do. The Creator has given us all free will to express energy in whatsoever way that we will, and respectfully in ways that is honoring and in ways that does not hurt or harm other people. But we are meant to exemplify the free will choice that the Creator gave us. You know, sexual ascension is also about being able to see the contrast, or see the way in which contrast and adversity, sexual contrast and even sexual adversity can be a fuel for the fire of divine expansion. Even when we go through the pain of sexual abuse, the pain of being a sexual abuser, because even when one is a sexual abuser toward others, at an unconscious level, they also bear the brunt of that abuse, because to abuse another is to abuse our own self by extension. And so the abuser is certainly not let off the hook. And sometimes the pain that is experienced by the abuser is even greater than the pain experienced by the one who is abused. And yet, when we are in the resonance of sexual ascension, then we take that energy on high, the energy of sexual abuse. We use the force of alchemy to transform something lower into a higher resonance, to transform poison into potion, the poison of abusive relationship with that energy into the potion of something more exalted, where we experience a greater measure of divine expansion, not in spite of the abuse, but because of the abuse, because we're meant to be empowered by everything. Everything is meant to empower us. And so it's time that we claim this reality of our sexuality and see it as a part of our capacity to be the powerful creators that we are intended to be. And every new sacred sexual experience can pop your cherry, because we all are the eternal virgin.